מסכת יומא, פרק ראשון, משנה א'. 7 ימים קודם יום הכיפורים, מפרישים כהן גדול מביתו. 7 days before Yom Kippur, we're going to separate the high priest from his house. What does it mean? בגמרא מבואר, the Gemara explains, שמפרישים אותו מאשתו, that you want to separate him from his wife. Why? שמא יטמא על ידה משום ספק נידה. First of all, you're afraid because she's going to become a nida, and then he's going to become tame, and he won't be able to serve. ויהיה אסור לבוא למקדש ביום הכיפורים, and then he will not be able to come to the temple in Yom Kippur. והרי כל עבודת יום הכיפורים אינם נעשות אלא בכהן גדול. And as we're going to learn soon, Yom Kippur is different than any other day, that the work of the בית המקדש on Yom Kippur has to be done by the high priest. כמו שהזכרנו לעיל, like we said before. ויש לשמור על טהרתו, so we have to keep him pure. ולמדים זה ממה שכתוב בשבעת ימי המילואים. We learn this from the fact that it's written in the 7 ימי המילואים, the 7 days where Aaron, just before they putting up the Mishkan for the first time, it says, ומפתח אוהל מוהד לא תצאו 7 ימים. God says, from the opening of the meeting tent, you should not go out for 7 days.
Because the met to Abanim שלו. That's why I told you, no?
Yeah, for any tumor. It can be for any tumor. It doesn't have to be for death. Any tumor. I don't care what happens. You stay here. כאשר עשה ביום הזה, just like they did in that day, ציווה השם לעשות לכפר עליכם. God commanded to atone for you. ודרשו לעשות זה מעשה פרה. And they learned, when it says לעשות, to do, this is the red heifer, לכפר עליכם, to atone for you, זה מעשה יום הכיפורים. This refers to יום כיפור. כלומר, שהכהן השורף את הפרה האדומה, that the Kohen that burns the red heifer, והכהן העושה את עבודת יום הכיפורים, and the Kohen that does the service for יום כיפור, שניהם תונים הפרשה מביתם 7 ימים. Both of them have to be separated from their house for 7 days. כמו שהיו אהרון בניו, תונים הפרשה מביתם ב7 ימי אלוהים. Just like Aaron and his sons had to be separated from their wives for 7 days. וזהו ששנינו כאן, this is what we learned over here. 7 ימים קודם יום הכיפורים, 7 days before יום כיפור, מפרישים כהן גדול מביתו. You separate the high priest from his house, ומכניסים אותו, and where would he live? ללשכת פלדהדרין. It's a room, it's called לשכת פלדהדרין. What was it? שהייתה בעזרה. It is in the עזרה. If you remember when we learned the things, you have בית המוקד, where the fire was, that the room, right next to it, there was a house. That's for the house for the high priest. That's what it was. שהייתה בעזרה, that was in the עזרה. במשנה שבגמרא הגרסה היא פלהדרין. So some call it פלהדרין, some call it פלהדרין. What's the difference? ומבואר במפרשים שהיא מילה יוונית. And it is says in Greek that it is actually a Greek word. Now you would ask, why would you use such a Greek word for such a holy place? So the reason is, Paledrin or Parhedrin means Kidei HaMelech. This is the ministers of the king. Yeah, but it doesn't have good connotations over here. I don't know if he's going to bring it up, we'll see. ובברייתא בגמרא מובא, in the Braita, in the Gemara, it brought, שבתחילת הייתה לשכה זו נקראת לשכת בלוטי, that in the beginning this room was called the place, the courtyard of בלוטי, היינו ביוונית, לשכת שרים ונכבדים. It was like in our days VIP. That's what it was called. It was called VIP. לשכת שרים ונכבדים. This is only the VIP entrance. Yeah. וכיוון, but since שירדה קרנה של הכהונה הגדולה בימי בית שני, it does bring it. Since in the time of the second temple, being a Kohen was not such a große Sache, as we're going to learn. Yeah. Why? שהיו קונים אותה בממון. It says, who used to be the high priest? The one who paid more to the governor, that he was the high priest. And even though they knew they're going to die, they still paid the money. והיו מחליפים אותה כל 12 חודש. So the people would die every 12 months. You would not last the year. There would never be the same Kohen in Yom Kippur during that time. Yeah, it was always a different Kohen because... because it wasn't, the Kohanim were not fitted. שהכהנים הגדולים בזמן בית שני, רובם היו רשעים, that the high priest in the time of the second temple, the majority of them were evil. ולא היו מתים שנתם, and they wouldn't even live for 1 year. So it was called לשכת כפרדרין. Why? כפרדרין הללו, כפקידי המלך. This is just like, in our words, politicians. Every year the king says, no, you guys stole too much money, let me bring another one. No, you guys stole like this. שמחליפים אותו כל שנה. Over here in America it's every 4 years, but over in that time the king used to exchange them every year. לפיכך קראו אותה, therefore it was a derogatory name. It wasn't a good name that they gave it. It was like everybody, this is, where the guy goes and you know what happens over there. לשכת פרדרין או פלדרין, עיין בירושלמי הלכה א', אוקיי. ומתקנים לו כהן אחר תחתיו. And also, they prepare a second in command, a second in Kohen instead of him. ומזמינים כהן אחר להיות כהן גדול במקומו. And you bring another Kohen to be a second in command instead of him. Why? שמא יערה בו פסול. Because he might become unpure. שיפסלנו לעבודה, כגון טומאה, for example, he can touch something which is dead, ויבוא זה וישמש במקומו. And so the second in command is going to come and be instead of him. ברם את הכהן האחר אין מפרישים מביתו. But the second Kohen, you don't have to separate from the wife. שההפרשה אינה מעכבת בעבודת יום הכיפורים. Because separation from the wife, you would say, how can he work if he wasn't separated? Yeah, so it says he can work if he wasn't separated. Only if he's tameh, he's not allowed to work. So you only separate the first one because of if he's going to become tameh. But you don't have to do it for the second one. It's not a requirement to be separated. It's a requirement to become tameh. We just want to make sure he doesn't become tameh. So you're not so worried about the second one. It's just in case. Okay.
You know that the first one is going to die anyway.
Yeah, but he's going to die after. He's not going to die during.
And after the Yom Kippur, they used to die.
Not necessarily. So, some of them actually lived after a little bit, but they all died within a year. Yeah, it depends on how much Rasha you were. If you were not very, you will last a little bit. Just like with the Seita, it says sometimes when the Seita would drink the water, she would die immediately, and sometimes she would go for. So the same thing over here. It depends on the level. Let's call it this way. Yeah. Rabbi Yehuda says, אף אישה אחרת מתקינים לו. It says, even another wife, you prepare for him. מזמינים לו לכהן גדול לפני יום הכיפורים. It says, you make sure he has another wife before Yom Kippur. In other words, he's not married just to one wife.
מזמינים לו, אבל הוא לא מתחתן.
I think it's Erusin. Yeah, I think a betula that is befitting for him. I'm actually not sure what's the procedure. How much does it need to have Erusin? It doesn't need to have Erusin. I don't know. Shema tamut ishto says, why do you need to prepare another wife? Because maybe his first wife will die. So what's the problem? ואסור לכהן גדול שאין לו אישה לעבוד עבודתו ביום הכיפורים. A high priest without a woman, without a wife, is not allowed to serve in Yom Kippur. Why? Because it says שנאמר וכיפר בעדו ובעד ביתו. It says, and he has to atone for himself and for his household. And his household is his wife. ודרשו ביתו זה אשתו. And they learned his household is his wife. בגמרא, I think it's going to discuss what you just brought. במאמרה מבואר שאומנם אסור גם שיהיו לו שתי נשים. So he's not allowed to actually be married to two wives. So he cannot be married. He cannot have in a Rusin, it looks like. To two wives. Just to be prepared. שכתוב הוא בעד ביתו, that it is written and for his household, ולא בעד שני בתים. He only has to have one household. לא כתוב ובעד בתיו. בעד ביתו, one. ולכן התקנה היא, and therefore the decree is שיהיה נושא את השנייה לפני יום הכיפורים. So
Now
the
it's
decree,
two wives.
we'll see, שיהיה נושא את השנייה לפני יום הכיפורים, that he has to marry the second wife before יום כיפור, כדי שתהיה זו ביתו אם תמות הראשונה. אלא שהוא מגרשה מעכשיו בתנאי שלא תמות אשתו הראשונה. Oh, it was very complicated. So this is how they used to do it. It says, I'm marrying you on condition that my wife doesn't die. Yeah?
She's not died, she's not...
If my wife doesn't die, you're divorced from now. In other words, we were never married.
Yeah, she's never been מקודשת.
Yeah, exactly.
מקודשת.
On תנאי that she lives, yeah, one of those. וכן נותן הוא גט בערב יום הכיפורים גם לראשונה בתנאי שיעשה איזה דבר. And also he gives a get to the first one in case she dies. Yeah, the same idea to the first one and to the second one. כגון על מנת שיכנס לבית הכנסת שבר הבית ונמצא שאם ראשונה לא תמות ביום כיפורים. So it says, I give you on condition that I come into בית הכנסת that is in the temple ground, and we find out that if the first one does not die ביום כיפור, הרי חל הגט של השנייה למפרע. Then the divorce takes in of the second one, in other words, it takes away all the whole marriage of the second one. ולא הייתה לו אלא אשתו הראשונה, and he only has the first wife. ואם תמות הראשונה, and if the first one dies, יקיים את התנאי שכנס לבית הכנסת, and he goes into the courtyard with her still alive, בשעה שהייתה סמוכה למיטה, at the time that she's close to death, נמצאת הראשונה מגורשת למפרע. So the first one now is divorced. Yeah? ולא הייתה לו ביום הכיפורים אלא אשתו השנייה, and his second wife is the one that is for him. So if she's very sick, it's a problem for the first wife. She's going to get divorced, and even if she gets better, he's not allowed to be with her. Because once you're divorced. Interesting. But she has to be very sick, like גוססת.
כן. היא הולכת למות.
Yeah. אמרו לו, this is what Rabbi Yehuda says, that he needs two wives. אמרו לו חכמים לרבי יהודה, the חכמים says to Rabbi Yehuda, you're crazy, you are too worried. It says, it can't be that this is what you do. אם כן, it says, if you're so worried, you're worried, maybe somebody's going to die. He says, who worries about such things? He says, you worried? So if you're starting worrying, maybe you have to worry that the second wife is also going to die. Maybe, and then the third wife, maybe you're worried that the third wife is going to die. How many wives are you going to be worried? Maybe you need to do this with 100 women. What are you doing? He says, what? It's unlikely things to happen. You don't worry about them. In other words, says it. אם כן, אם נבוא לחשוש במיתה, if we're going to start worrying about this one dying and that one dying, אין לדבר סוף. He says, you'll have to worry forever. שמא תמות גם האישה השנייה, you'll have to worry, maybe the second wife will die. אלא שאין חוששים למיתה. No, we do not worried for people dying. הואיל ואין זה שכיח, שאדם ימות לפתע פתאום. It's not something which is common, that people fall dead dying. אבל לפסולו של הכהן חוששים. But if the Kohen becomes impure, that you have to worry about, because it happens all the time. People dying, not all the time, but people becoming impure all the time. הואיל ומצוי הדבר שירא לאדם מקרה של טומאה. It happens a lot that the person becomes impure. לפיכך מתקינים לו כהן אחר תחתיו. Therefore we put another Kohen underneath him. ואין אומרים בזה אין הדבר סוף. For another Kohen you don't say, if you're worried about one Kohen, make another Kohen. Because לפי שכהן גדול זריז וזהיר הוא בעבודתו. Because the high priest is usually very careful in his work. ודווקא משום שמזמינים לו אחר תחתיו, יהיה זהיר ביותר שלא יראו לו פסול. And specifically now that you appoint one underneath him, you are making him even more careful because he wants to be the high priest. Hey, if I do something wrong, one thing wrong, you know what's going to happen? I'm not going to serve in the temple. And everybody wanted to serve. אבל אישה אחרת אין מתקינים לו, but another woman we do not fix to him. ברם, רבי יהודה חושש למיתתה של אחת, and Rabbi Yehuda is going to tell you, no, I'm worried about one woman dying, ואינו חושש למיתתם של שתיים. And he's not worried for two people dying. And obviously, halacha chachamim, the halacha is like the sages, that you don't need two wives, but you do need two kohens.